All right, so just got home. Here's a brief connection of why I'm like lit off of having ran at that consistency through nasal breathwork, right? So my first like introduction to, when I first started really paying attention to this like spiritual woo-woo shit was I walked into a masseuse. It was like a massage appointment. And the guy kind of stopped and he looked at me and he was like, you have this real like blue indigo aura. Are you an indigo child? And me, I'm like, what the fuck is that? And so I was like, no. And can we just do the massage? And so he was like, yeah, you give me indigo child vibes. Like you just have this really like dark blue aura around you. And I was like, all right. So I went home and I researched it. And when we look at how, I got into like my nerd bag of how light is transmitted into sound and waves and links and all that jazz. And basically blue is the color associated with the throat chakra, okay? And so if you look, my birthmark is on my throat. And so I was like, oh, cute connection, ha! And so things started, continuing, ramping up. I'm starting to have all these motherfucking dreams, particularly one, I still remember, this was probably like 2019. There were sick people literally everywhere, and I'm like tiptoeing around them. I was barefoot, gross. But I remember there were like people standing there with like, they're like standing their back broken almost with like blue orbs. If you play video games, what is it, Skyrim or Destiny? I don't know, whatever, like when something's glowing basically. And everything was glowing like dark blue, and all of the dreams that summer were like, you're good, we got you, speak up, good omens type of shit, right? And so during that time, it was also like a running joke that from like college, that when I talk too much, like if I get passionate and really start talking and yapping, I would lose my voice. Like if I had a girls' night out, like over some wine type of shit, and we were just chopping it up, if I talked for longer than 30 minutes, because of how passionately and like expanded, I would lose my voice for like 2 days. So fast forward, we are in the throes of ancestor veneration and finding out some shit, and all of a sudden, it was a really rough time. My first reading in Ifa, I got the name Ifasooto, speaker of truth. What was the antidote? Like if I was to shoot an arrow with my voice and with my, my tongue, like it would get hit through concrete to always hit its bullseye, sharpshooter, like with my tongue. And so that was the first name I ever got through Ifa, like the first reading I got, and it stuck, right? And so this, again, where we're ramping it up towards, like, then to find out, like, Omo Shango was so fitting because I felt like I was going through this whole initiation of, like, divine rage, like, what it felt like to feel in your body, to go red, to, like, I was cussing everybody out, went no contact with folks, everybody got the choppa, because, again, when we talk about ancestor veneration, and when you call the names and when you start telling the stories, like, because we work and we are tonal people, like it activates the codes of healing, right? And so the throat chakra was fucking open. Everybody was getting the chakras, and I don't know, it was rough, but it was also like a lot. It was a lot because, talking about heavy topics with family, with friends, and trying to move through these heavy, like, shadow work, healing, all that jazz, it was a lot. And I was still losing my voice halfway through. I'd be on the phone, crying, ranting, on the mat, crying, losing my voice, having panic attacks. Until one time, I'm sitting with a friend, he was visiting Atlanta, and so he was in choir like his whole life, professional singer. And again, we've been chopping it up for about an hour at this point, like on my couch, and I'm starting to lose my voice, and I'm like, we're gonna have to stop because or I'm not gonna be able to speak for like the next 3 days. And he's like, babe, because you shallow breathe. And I was like, what? He's like, you shallow breathe, like your breath is like right here. So yeah, you're straining it, first of all, and you're not breathing. You're not, like, there's a full process that goes into fucking breathing. And I was like, what? So I'm over here researching shallow breathing and realizing that exasperates anxiety, that exasperates like having panic attacks. So on top of all this heavy ass information that I'm maneuvering and navigating, I also am having panic attacks, can't breathe, I'm in the hospital, I'm relapsing on certain like health issues because I'm shallow breathing. And so I'm a person who's always loved being active, right? not realizing that, during the pandemic, during all this, really heavy shit, that's why I fell in love with Girl Strike. I was out there walking because their whole thing is they just wanted to get 1 million Black women walking to prevent preventable ass shit like hypertension, diabetes, things that are killing us by the boatload, that are actually super preventable. And so I was out there walking, and walking saved my life for a good 30 minutes to an hour. Your girl was out there with the hips. I wasn't at the gym because of the pandemic and all that jazz, but we was out there walking, and that shit saved my life. And me not connecting, it's because I was controlling my breath. And so fast forward, all of the shit, everybody in the choppers, me speaking my truth 1000%, all led to blessings. Everybody who I cut off, we talked, we locked in now because of accountability and all that jazz, right? Fast forward to my Oya initiation a year and some change ago. This last day, the first day, one of the messages that fell on the mat was, Ifasooto, you need to speak the truth. And so the people on the compound, they're like giving the messages, and they're like, there's a name that talks about speaking the truth. And so my godfather and I are looking at each other, and we're like, that's my name. It's the first name I got years ago. And they were like, oh, so you need to be more of your name then. You need to speak up. Oya is saying that you need to speak the truth. No black and white, tell the truth, speak up, speak like a brave woman. And so for today, to sit on live talking about Oya for an hour and like 40 minutes, hype, enthusiastic. I took a nap, ate some tacos, and I'm still like in this interview. So I'm like, let's go to the gym. Ran for 30 minutes straight. I'm still probably hype. 30 minutes on the treadmill. Like the lung capacity, like my Oura ring checks like the oxygen to blood level like ratios and shit. And it's just like, I am God right now. And then too, I was sick last week. So I'm just like, to speak, I used to have to like take a hiatus for talking longer than 30 minutes. And now, because I was nervous, obviously, so the anxiety was there earlier today. And so to speak up, to tell my truth, to talk about certain topics that, some are still not comfortable with, that I'm still becoming comfortable with, telling others, telling strangers. And then to go to the gym and run for 30 fucking minutes through my nose. Like, we was out here. That was a cool, I would say it was a higher pace, jog. So, a 6.8, we out here. And then to sprint for a minute and a half. Be scared of me. Be scared of me. Okay, and to wrap it up with a nice pretty bow, no wonder they demonized divination tools. Imagine having information about how your body works, how, having this information of just, there's obviously a really deep connection to my throat chakra, to me speaking up, what it feels like in my body to do that, and how it wasn't always easy. So no wonder they spent all this time, efforts, resources being like, no, the witches, the occultists, they're all demons and channeling the devil, all that jazz. It's cool when you do it, but when we do it, you can pop open the Bible and pick a Bible verse, Bible-mancy, but biblical-mancy, Bible-mancy. But when we do, we prophesize. You can prophesize, have all the dreams. But when we do it, and so to be told my name years ago, and to know that, it is an embodiment practice. It's not just a name. It's not just, oh, Janiece, just be talking. No, it's a conscious day-to-day practice.